today. So why and when do we need functions in complex variables? Right. As what we discussed, that what was the origin or the necessity for defining a complex number? Because see, complex variable is nothing but the extension of a function, concept of function or definition of function to the complex variable or complex number, so that we can call it as a complex variable. So what was the need for the sorry what was the need for defining the complex variable when it didn't work, when real number didn't work, and there was a need to define the there was a need to define the complex number, because square root of a negative number was not defined. So accordingly we introduced the imaginary number. So when and why we need the complex variable? Yeah, what was the necessity for defining the complex variable? Every algebraic or quadratic equation has a solution in real number, but after this there was a requirement or a need to define the function of complex variable. The term imaginary was first used by Descartes. Between this, after, if you see the span, after 1576 it was introduced. The I notation and the Euler's identity or Euler's identity, after Leonhard Euler it was denoted or defined. And then these people, Gauss and Hamilton, worked for the working of function of complex variable. Now function in real world, what we are usually talking about, that if I say that f is a function of x, that is we are writing y is equal to sorry, f is not, f is a function of x, variable x, which is denoted by y. Function means what? It associates one variable with respect to the other by defining certain rule. So what is that rule? X square is a rule which is establishing the relationship between y and x. If I have the rule as x square plus y, x square into x to the power 1 by 2, this particular will be the rule which associates the variable x as well as y. So accordingly we will be simplifying and getting down the answer. So in two-dimensional plane, whenever, or 2D representation, when I have the Cartesian coordinate system x versus y, here if you see it is x versus y. So accordingly, whenever we have this x versus y, we will be defining the variable appropriately, and the graph can also be simplified or can be drawn very easily. Then तनुल टेम्बेकर अभी ज्वाइन हो रहा है. ठीक है. So accordingly, whenever you have this particular quantity or the Cartesian coordinates representation, we can go x versus y. But what is the nature in the function of complex variable? Either you may have four numbers, that is called as a 4D representation, as you are able to see. I just now talked that z is a function of z can be termed as or related to x and y. I can represent it as a complex number in combination with x and y. So z is a complex number x plus iy, where I is under root of minus 1, I is under root of minus 1. That means I square is equal to minus 1. We usually know that square of any number is always positive. It is never negative. Minus 2 square is also 4 and square of 2 is also 4. Cube of a negative number can be negative. But here this imaginary number, which is just used as a notation, nobody has seen it, but it is assumed that I should be taken as the imaginary number and I square will be equal to minus 1. So w is represented as u plus iv. What is u? U is a function of xy. What is v? V is also a function of xy. So in that case I represent the function of complex variable as w of z or f of z. W is equal to f of z. What will be z? Z will always be by default x plus iy. Fine. And W will always be denoted as U plus IV. So square relationship or function is accordingly used. So x plus iy whole square is equal to x square minus I square. They have simplified it using the notation a plus b whole square. A plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So accordingly this can be done. I square is minus 1, so it becomes x square minus y square. Real part is x square minus y square. Whatever term is associated with I, that is completely treated as imaginary part. So this we can represent as u of xy plus I times v of xy. So three-dimensional or four-dimensional representation usually will lead us to the functions in the complex world. I hope this picture is clear. Next, what is the what are the major applications and what are the prerequisites required to go into this particular topic or the course function of complex variable, or the major things what we will be requiring here. Complex functions are powerful tools for researchers and the developers because this is a part of complex analysis. Okay, it is a branch of mathematics wherein a complex analysis deals with function of complex variable, and indirectly it relates to, or we go back to the number system, that is complex variables. The field of applications of complex functions is very wide and it includes control theory, electrical engineering and electronics, telecommunication engineering, improper integrals. Whenever we cannot evaluate the integral, or it is an improper integral. Last year, if you remember, you must have dealt with beta function and gamma function. Beta function and gamma function are usually used to evaluate the improper integrals. Fluid dynamics, mostly related to mechanical engineering students, electromagnetism, electrical engineering, quantum physics, fractals, etc. So fluid mechanics or fluid dynamics has varied application or major part of application through function of complex variable. It's easy for a typical student who is majoring or graduating in engineering and science, but preparation of calculus and linear algebra is required. Linear algebra means knowledge of matrices, what we have done as per our restriction or limitation of the syllabus. That portion comes under linear algebra. And calculus, consistently I have been talking about that calculus requires derivative and integration. So some working knowledge of differential equation which can be covered under calculus will be helpful. So the course is a continuation of calculus of functions, but it is a complex variable. For the very first time we are dealing the calculus of functions, not with real but with the complex variable or the complex function. Fine. So accordingly we will be moving forward. So we use the functions in complex variable to formulate why and where it is required. So in complex variable, the major topic what we will be dealing with, the very first topic is analytic functions, and why analytic functions are to be studied or those are required. So analytic functions, those have extremely elegant and useful properties. What are the properties which are required, or those properties of analytic functions are widely used? Those are derivatives of all orders, many useful transformations, Fourier and Laplace. These are included in our syllabus. We will be discussing about them in the due course of time. Their series expansions are commonly used to calculate solutions to multi-dimensional differential equations. See, right now we talk about only one-dimensional heat flow, one-dimensional wave equation, but series expansions can be useful to find out the solutions to the multi-dimensional differential equations. Analytic functions are widely used in. These are the required properties which are helpful. But where we can use analytic functions? For fluid heat conduction, for fluid flow, electrostatics, electromagnetics, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, etc. So accordingly, complex variable will involve various subtopics which are majorly used for the particular calculations or the have varied applications. Then some major extensions of the application. Solutions to two-dimensional Laplace equations by means of conformal mapping. Conformal mapping was one of the portion. Bilinear transformation, conformal transformation was one of the major portion of the syllabus, but now it has, after the change to the credit based system, this particular topics are no more a part of the syllabus. If interested, we can discuss it in beyond syllabus topics, or if time permits. Quantum mechanics, consistently we are talking about quantum physics or quantum mechanics. Series expansion with analytic continuation. Series expansion we will be discussing about as one of the portion or the content of the syllabus in this particular unit, that is function of complex variable. Transformation between spatial functions is one of the application. Contour integrals, yes, this also forms a major weightage in the unit. Contour integrals or contour integration, Cauchy integral formula, we will be all discussing about. So function of complex variable has varied application in this. Evaluation of the definite indefinite integral, power series, infinite products, asymptomatic solutions, this we are not dealing with, stability of oscillations, etc., integral transforms, and generalization of real quantities to describe dissipation. Examples are given here. So this is one of the slide which shows the various varied applications. Then some applications again in continuation of complex variable, phasor domain analysis in physics and engineering, Laplace and Fourier transform, that we will be looking. Evaluation of integral, just now I said Cauchy integral or contour integration. Asymptotics, method of steeped descent. Conformal mapping, a solution of Laplace equation. Uh, right now we are not having this topic in our syllabus. And radiation physics, which helps to branch cuts and poles. Branch cuts and poles is indirectly related to the closed uh, region and open region, that we will be discussing in the coming part of the syllabus. So closed region and closed unbounded region. Now just we have a background of theory of complex numbers. In short, I will try to describe what you learned up till now regarding the complex number. Complex number Z may be thought of simply as an ordered pair of real numbers xy with rules for addition and multiplication. See, real number, I said Z is a complex number where it is denoted by x plus iy. But how are these x and y? These x and y are real numbers. So here, whatever representation of the Cartesian coordinate system will be there, it will be no more called as Cartesian coordinate system, it will be called as Argand plane or Z plane. ठीक है, टू डायमेंशन होने के कारण it is a plane, but what plane it is called as? Z plane or Argand plane, or that representation is called as Argand diagram. Here it will also be denoted as x versus y, but here this x-axis is a real axis and this y-axis is a imaginary axis. This y-axis is not a real axis, it is an imaginary axis. And then whatever ordered pair x comma y we are writing, x coordinate versus y coordinate, that representation can be called as ordered pair, but in which plane? In Z plane. But how are x and y at the same time? X and y are real, but y is considered to be plotted on, or the representation of y is done on the imaginary y axis. So z is equal to x plus iy. X and y are real, denoted or written in the ordered pair form. It can, imaginary number can be either written in the form of I or j. Value of I is under root of -1, or I square is equal to -1. Real part of z is called as x, imaginary part of z is called as y, and then I can say that yes, it is a ordered pair x comma y. Now you can convert it into the polar form. Polar form में x is to be represented or expressed as r cos theta, y is to be represented as r sin theta. Fine. अभी ये कैसे होता है? ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन डेफिनेशन ऑफ साइन एंड कॉस पर से होता है. थीटा इज द एंगल which is measured in the anti-clockwise direction, radians में. So I write x as r cos theta, y as r sin theta. R can be taken common, cos theta plus I sin theta. Euler's formula says that cos theta plus I sin theta will be written as e to the power I theta. So what is angle notation for that? It is angular theta. So in Euler's formula also requirement is theta must be measured in radians. R is equal to modulus of z. And what is modulus or absolute value which is called as magnitude of z? Under root of x square plus y square. Argument of z is tan inverse of y by x. So usually we use I to denote square root of -1. Somewhere we can switch to j when we are doing actually or solving the engineering problem. This is all the background which you are aware of. Fine. So in z plane, this theta is nothing but the periodic. We can call it as a periodic because those are expressed in the polar form with trigonometric terms and sine and cosine. So 2k pi or 2n pi is a factor which can be added to this theta, but still this value remains the same. So in phase angle or argument, it is not unique. A multiple of 2 pi or 360 degree, 2 pi means 360, pi is 180 degrees, so 2 into pi will be 360 degree, does not change. Addition of this particular angle does not change the value of x and y. Why? Because our polar form of the complex number contains sine and cosine. Sine and cosine terms are periodic functions with a period of 2 pi. So if I write theta as theta plus 2 pi, still your value will be same, or multiple of 2n pi. So 2n pi, multiple of 2 pi means 2n pi. N can be 1, 2, 3 and so on. So ये क्या बनेगा 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 3 pi, etc. So accordingly theta will never change whether addition of this 2n pi or 2 pi will uh, add to the multiple of this theta. So accordingly, how the arithmetic or algebra of the complex variable goes, I can add the two complex numbers, I can subtract two complex number, I can multiply two complex numbers. So here if you see one complex number is given by z1 which will be x1 plus iy1, another complex number is z2 which is given by x2 plus iy2. I add them together in addition or subtraction, real part is taken together, imaginary part is taken together. So accordingly, the addition and subtraction will be done in that manner. So this is the pictorial representation or the diagrammatic representation of the addition of two complex numbers. Addition goes this side, subtraction goes this side. Z1 minus Z2. This is how we can add represent the addition of the two numbers and subtraction of the two numbers. Multiplication of the two complex numbers or division of two complex numbers. Division usually involves the multiplication of conjugate to the denominator and numerator. Here z1 multiplied by z2, open the bracket by using term by term multiplication, and whatever is the resultant, appropriately you represent that number. We can say that I is under root of -1. So this is what multiplication of a complex number is. This is division of complex number. So two complex numbers are divided, it cannot be resolved unless you multiply by the conjugate of the complex number. What do you mean by conjugate of complex number? Signs are opposite. If it is plus, here it will be minus, and accordingly take the product of numerator, take the product of denominator. ये simplification है. Accordingly we have to simplify. 1 by I is always equal to minus I, क्योंकि जैसे अपन माइनस साइन डिनोमिनेटर में नहीं रखते, likewise we usually do not keep the imaginary number in the denominator. So to eradicate or to eliminate this imaginary number from the denominator, उसको multiply करिएगा numerator and denominator with I. So I into 1 is I into I in the denominator is I square is -1. So I upon -1 will become फाइनल आंसर एज -i. समझ में आया? 1 बाय i को मल्टीप्लाई करना है i से न्यूमरेटर और डिनोमिनेटर. सो न्यूमरेटर में क्या हो जाएगा 1 into i, डिनोमिनेटर में क्या हो जाएगा i स्क्वायर. व्हाट इज i स्क्वायर? -1. i अपॉन -1 -i. सो यूजुअली 1 बाय i इसके बाद जब जब दिखेगा I will be putting it as minus I. We can multiply and divide the complex numbers, but we cannot divide two-dimensional vectors. However, multiplication of two-dimensional vectors in different ways, that is dot product and cross product, we know. That is what the algebra or arithmetic of complex numbers is. Conjugation. Just now I talked about the conjugate. Conjugate is nothing but the mirror image. If your Z lies in the first quadrant, conjugate will lie in the third quadrant. It is nothing but the mirror image, because theta is taken in the clockwise direction, so it becomes minus theta. So z is, if z is a complex number x plus iy, z bar or z star will be called as conjugate, which is given by x minus iy. So z by z2, accordingly you can simplify modulus of z into z bar, you can calculate, and that is how the calculation will go. This is all background you are aware with. Euler's formula भी आपको पता है, e to the power I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. This we have studied in complex number last year. E to the power minus I theta is cos theta minus I sin theta. This variable theta is taken as real, but it can be complex also. Angular measurement can be in clockwise direction, and as it was invented by Leonhard Euler, it is named as Euler's formula. What is usually the expansion? The same expansion is used in the extension of the complex number. 1 plus x square by 2 factorial plus x cube by 3 factorial is usually the expansion for the exponential term. Now I have to replace this x by z. But what is this z? Z is a combination of x plus iy. So simply replacing x by z, it will give you 1 plus z square by 2 factorial plus z cube by 3, etc. Okay, and then accordingly I have to use this value of z as x plus iy. Use here x plus iy. Expanding it and simplifying it appropriately will give you e to the power I theta as cos theta plus I sin theta after simplification or modification. If I have to express it in the uh, complex form, e to the power iz will be cos z plus I sin z, e to the power minus iz will be cos z minus I. Last time, if you remember, in one of the example of method of separation of variable, we have tried to simplify it in this manner. Cos z is e to the power iz plus e to the power minus iz upon 2. Sin z is e to the power iz minus e to the power minus iz upon 2i. So this is what we get from the Euler's formula, and this is for the hyperbolic function. Fine. Next is application to trigonometric identities. Like we have cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. 1 plus tan square theta is equal to sec square theta. Similarly, with the help of the Euler's formula or the Euler's formula, we can get down the things, add the real part, add the complex part, separate real part and imaginary part, and then we can have the simplification for the various trigonometric identities. See, cos of a plus b in general for real numbers is cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. Similarly, here also for complex numbers, cos theta 1 cos theta 2 minus sin theta 1 sin theta 2, it will be for plus. For minus, it will be this plus. Accordingly, this is how the expansion for the cos of a plus b, sin of a plus b, sin of a minus b. So expansion is done to the trigonometric identities with the help of the complex number. Then what major theorem you studied last year was known as De Moivre's theorem. Abraham de Moivre was responsible for the invention or the discovery of this theorem. This theorem says that for n as fraction or any real number, e to the power I theta to the power n, e to the power I theta to the power n, यानी e to the power I theta भी अपन ने क्या लिखा था, cos theta plus I sin theta to the power n whole to the power n will give you the answer as sin n theta and cos n theta. Means this power whatever is raised is multiplied to the angle over here. So accordingly, this is what the De Moivre's theorem says. Now we know that this theta is periodic, so I can add the multiple of 2 pi, that is 2n pi or 2k n pi. to the angle, still your result will remain the same. So that is what the De Moivre's theorem was studied or discussed last year. Now what we are interested in studying this particular unit, that is theory of complex variable or complex variable theory. So initially we will be trying to understand the extension from a real function to the complex function, and therefore the variable defined will be called as the complex variable. So I will be firstly discussing about the function of complex variable. As just now we saw that w is equal to f of z, how it is written as w is equal to f of z is written as u plus I v. What are u and v? U and v are ultimately functions of xy. And what is this z? Z is nothing but x plus iy. So accordingly, this will be always by default to be kept in mind while discussing about the complex variable or the complex function. Then next we will be talking about Cauchy-Riemann equations or Cauchy-Riemann conditions. These usually, since you see that u and v are functions of x and y, whatever derivatives will be involved in this particular unit will be called as partial derivatives. And Cauchy-Riemann conditions are responsible, verification or validation of Cauchy-Riemann conditions are responsible for defining a function to be analytic. In the previous slides, we talked about varied applications or wide applications of analytic functions, which forms an integral part of the complex variable theory, along with the contour integration or the Cauchy integral formula. So for a function to be analytic, these Cauchy-Riemann conditions, in short, which are called as CR equations, are to be fulfilled. And those CR equations will be checked or verified or validated with the help of the partial derivatives. Why? Because since u and v are functions of two variables, therefore the derivatives involved will be partial derivatives. Fine. The second part is Cauchy integral theorem. We will be third topic talking about the Cauchy integral theorem, then Cauchy integral formula, then Lorentz series expansion. I said that series expansion is also one of the major part in the unit. Singularities and poles, then calculation of the residue. Cauchy residue theorem is again the next part of this particular unit in relation to this calculation of the residue. So the flow of topics or the contents of the unit are: firstly, we understand with the function of complex variable, define it. Then we talk about its multiplication, addition, subtraction, existence of the derivative. Existence of the derivation will depend on the condition of limits and continuity. So I will check the derivative, and which gives rise to the function of a function of complex variable gives rise to the analytic functions. To check whether the given function is analytic or not, I talk about the Cauchy-Riemann conditions. I then talk about Cauchy integral theorem, which in turn gives rise to Cauchy integral formula, series expansion, singularities, poles and residues. Then calculation of residues is understood. We talk about Cauchy residue theorem. And in the last part, we talk about the contour integration. Contour integration, which is required for the, or which can be applied for the closed curve. So what do you mean by closed curve? What do you mean by simply connected curve? That all we will be discussing under complex integration. All these last, except this CR equation and analytic function, those are concerned with the derivatives of an complex variable. Rest all functions we are talking about complex integration, and that is how we will be simplifying or going in this particular unit. So one question is always on the analytic function: find out the harmonic function or the harmonic conjugate. One question is always on the Cauchy integral formula, Cauchy integral theorem. One question is on the Lorentz series expansion. One question is on the calculation of residues and applying Cauchy residue theorem. One question is always on the contour integration. In contour integration, we have a unit circle and the semicircle. So these are nothing but the major topics what we will be dealing with in this particular unit, and that is how the flow of flow of the topics to be studied in this particular unit are. evaluation of definite integrals. In that we will be mostly talking about or applying the Cauchy integral formula or Cauchy residue theorem. The last part what I was talking about, the contour integration, it all depends on this. So this was all introductory portion related to the function of complex variable, and accordingly we will be simplifying and getting down the things appropriately. I hope I have made myself very much clear. Accordingly, anything to be discussed more? Shall I stop sharing the screen as it is clear? Fine. Any difficulty up till now? I hope all must be now familiar with what background of complex variable or the function of complex variable or how we define the functions are appropriately, and then we can move on with the, as in the last slide what I discussed, that we have to talk about various topics in this unit. We will be talking it about in the from the next class. This much is sufficient for the day. Is it fine?